All right. Welcome to the 2024 SEC Baseball Tournament Championship postgame press conference. Joined by the runners-up, the LSU Tigers, represented by head coach Jay Johnson, catcher Alex Milazzo. In a moment, Coach will give us an opening statement, and then we'll take questions directed only to Alex, please. Diego and Grant have wireless microphones. Please raise your hand, wait to be called upon, and identify yourself when the microphone gets to you. Coach?
Yeah, very proud of our team this week. Accomplished a lot. 4 wins, in the toughest league and toughest tournament in baseball. Congratulations to Tennessee for winning the championship today. They got a great program, great players, and but I think the story is how we played all week long. We had 2 dominant pitching performances. We had 2 dominant offensive performances, and came up a little bit short. And really liked what I saw in terms of the depth of our pitching staff and guys that can make a positive contribution moving forward, in the NCAA tournament, and feel pretty good about the 10 or 11 position players that we're going to roll with, and feel like we're well positioned for success in the next couple weeks. And it was a great week in Hoover. Obviously, would have liked to got one more hit there and won the tournament, but eyes ahead for the Tigers.
All right. Questions for Alex, starting on the right front row.
Chessa Boucher with WVLA in Baton Rouge. Alex, what does it say about your team with what you guys did this week and just postseason positioning as well?
Yeah, this team's been resilient all year. I think playing throughout the SEC, it's the toughest league in college baseball, and you're going to get hit in the mouth quite a few times as you go into that conference. And we took our licks early on, but a lot of guys on this team grew up and matured as we were going on, and I think just the message was, hey, it's not time to throw in the towel. And coaching staff did a great job of showing up to work every day. So did we, and we took it one game at a time, and slowly but surely you could start seeing the pieces coming along. And I don't think either one of us up here is shocked of what we just did in this tournament, and but got to move on. And we've been playing playoff baseball for the past 5 or 6 weeks to get to where we are now, and look forward to making a good postseason run.
All right, front and center.
Alex Koki-Raleigh with the Advocate. What'd you see from all the different guys who threw today, given that pretty much all of them are either on short rest or no rest at all?
Yeah, I think each guy, first of all, went out there and competed against a very good offensive lineup. Hats off to Tennessee. They swing the bats very well. But each guy went out there and competed their butts off. I really liked what I saw from Thatcher Hurd. I mean, that's one of the biggest takeaways from this SEC tournament for me as a catcher is how good he looked and how much he's battled throughout the season. Getting him where he's at right now is a big addition to our pitching staff, but Will Helmers too. Couldn't be more proud of him, a guy that probably hadn't pitched in the last month, and he comes out and throws up, 4 or 5 innings of zeros. So just overall as a staff, I'm super proud of them, and I think it was big to get all those guys in this environment for going forward.
Third row, right side.
Jack Schemmel with WBRZ in Baton Rouge. Alex, I guess, what did you learn about your team this week that you didn't know going into the week?
Nah, nothing really shocked me. I knew what we were capable of, coming in. Coming into this, I think the biggest thing was we had some very clutch hits, and throughout the game there was no panic, whether we were down 8-0 at one point in time or the 4 or 5 lead changes in the first South Carolina game. Very proud of just staying with the plan, staying with the approach, guys not getting outside of themselves. And, it comes down right there. We were just short of 1 hit.
All right, front row, right.
Stephen Milam, the true freshman, had a monster week. What did you see from him? He doesn't play like a true freshman, and he's been clutch for y'all back-to-back games.
Yeah, he's just a competitor. There's no other way to put it. That guy competes. I wouldn't want any other second baseman. I wouldn't trade him for anybody else. That's our guy right there, and he's a competitor.
All right, last one for Alex, front row on the left.
Alex, after catching, I don't know how many games it's been in a row now, 5 or 6 games in a row in this sort of humidity, how are you feeling?
Feel fine. I was built for this. I've been catching since I was 9 years old, so it's just a toughness aspect of it.
Awesome. Alex, congratulations on the success this week. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
All right, if there are questions for Coach, let's start here on the front right.
Coach, how big of a week was it for your team? You've talked about the adversity, but to really show the world that you guys aren't backing down and to essentially lock up a number 2 seed.
Yeah, I think I'm just proud of the play, and I'm proud of the growth. You know, we're in a tough spot. You know, as we talked about throughout the week, halfway through league, a lot of that had to do with the league. You know what I mean, and to kind of, you know, flip the script, you know, in the second half and play consistently, and then come here and then win 4 games and, you know, be a base hit away from being in extra innings, you know, in this thing. And these guys wanted to win today, but I think they emptied the tank pretty good. I mean, my man's up here talking about toughness, and he's all good, but we need to sit him down for a couple days and get recouped. But he did a terrific job, as did all of the rest of the players. So we'll fly home tonight, and we'll get some good rest. We'll get them up. We'll celebrate being in the NCAA tournament tomorrow when the bracket pops up. And then we'll give them a good itinerary once we know where we're going, who we're playing, when we're leaving, and get prepared, you know, because that's the next phase of this. It was a good week, but we didn't, you know, this wasn't the end game, you know, for this team. And they respected the game. They respected this conference. They respected their university in terms of how they played and competed for a championship today. But we're excited about what's ahead.
Third row on the right.
Coach, you got 5 games in 6 days. What do you tell your guys when you know that this is a situation you want to be in a week or down the road?
Yeah, I think, you know, that one's a 5 games in 4 days if you don't play it right. So we can draw from this experience in terms of what it takes to win. And, you know, I'm assuming we'll be on the road, you know, obviously. And, you know, get there early, get prepared, get rested, get focused on what the game calls for out of winning baseball. And I think we're well positioned to do that. I think we have a clear identity now. I think roles are pretty established in terms of what we're going to do, how we're going to do it. And they're playing incredibly hard. And, you know, it's a team that I'm proud of and really excited to attack the postseason. You know, I mean, there's 300 schools playing baseball. 310, something like that. There's only 64 having practice tomorrow or Tuesday. And we're one of those, and we've earned the right to compete to go to the College World Series and play for the national championship, you know, that we currently have. And that's pretty awesome.
First row in the center.
Coach, is there any update on Christian Little?
Yeah, I mean, he came out of the game and just he didn't feel good at his lat. It's not an arm issue. It was a lat issue. So I don't have anything other than that. I mean, he wanted to throw a few more pitches, and I was like, no, we're not going to do that. So I'm optimistic. You know, whatever treatment we can get him, we'll get him. I will say that I'm optimistic about our staff, though. Obviously, he's a big piece, but I feel like this week showed we have more guys that I'm comfortable going to.
Fourth row center.
John Eads, WAFB. Coach, you mentioned yesterday that when you guys got swept by Tennessee in mid-April, you would kind of hit rock bottom, so to speak. But now you go out there and you push them to the brink. How far has this team come since then, and how noticeable are the changes?
Yeah, I think we've come a long ways. I always believed we had a good team. I think, you know, there was a lot to that where we were at that time. But I think it's a good, I don't know, it's not a story. It's a good life lesson, as I would say, that sometimes when it's hard and if you just put your head down and work and focus on what's relevant and try to execute your job to help your team win better day after day after day, that you can become a better player. You can positively impact your team both on and off the field. And I think it's a locker room full of guys that have done that and are doing that. And I'm really excited about what's ahead. And I'm really excited about playing in the postseason, you know, and the opportunity that presents this particular team. And I think we're well positioned to be successful.
Third row on the left.
Jay, Kevin Skarbinski with the SEC blog. Record attendance for the week, second largest single game attendance today. Can you add any more superlatives to what people have said about this event in this venue? And do you think it will carry over to next year when we've got a new format and 2 more teams?
I sure hope so. I'll tell you, like the national anthem was finishing up, the flyover, and the whole crowd chanting LSU. Like, I mean, I got some chills. Like, then I don't only remember like feeling that in Omaha last year. And there's nothing like this. You know, there's all these things going on in debates of how many teams and this and that. Like, there's college baseball, and then there's this thing that's happening here, and they're not the same right now. And you know, I'm proud to be a part of the conference. I'm proud to compete against the teams that we're competing against, and you know, I think we'll be well represented in the postseason, not just in bids, but in terms of how everybody plays. And you know, the programs have just advanced so far, and let's just call it whatever, the last 20 to 30 years, that it allows for an environment, you know, to be like this. This is my 3rd one. This is, you know, the most successful we've been in this, and you know, watching it on TV all those years in the West, you know, the 9:30 a.m. games, it's 7:30 a.m. I'm eating my oatmeal in my office, and I got a game on. Always thought this was really cool, and it just seems to, you know, continue to separate itself from the pack.
Second row left.
Joe Healy, D1 Baseball. What do you think Dylan Lloyd did in that game to kind of put the game in a sleeper hold there for 4
Yeah,
2/3?
he did a nice job. I think they pitch well. They pitch really, really well. You know, they don't miss over the plate very much. They seem to keep the ball away from the hitter's eyes well. They change speeds. They pitch, you know, and he did that today. And he's deceptive. He hides the ball really well. Nice performance, you know, by him.
Time for 2 more back toward the right.
Coach Alfred Esmond, Southeastern 14. Looking ahead to the NCAA tournament, obviously the title run from last year, how can you use that wisdom for your team heading into this one this year?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things that are relevant. I mean, it'll be a little different. I mean, we played at home for both rounds, so that's a little bit different. I think we can utilize this week in terms of things that can be really positive for our team in terms of preparing. But I think perspective is important. You know, there's a few things. Your 5 wins from the College World Series, your 10 wins from a national championship. Okay? When you say it in that terms, it feels a little more attainable. Then there's the whole, like the movie Hoosiers things. You don't look at the next step till you cross the one in front of you, and the self-discipline to do that. And that's one of my strengths, I think, as a coach, and helping them do that. And you know, I think this team has the self-discipline and the maturity now to be able to take whatever the challenge is and do the things required to help us play well in postseason baseball. And it's a great opportunity for this team.
All right, last one, front row.
Coach, you mentioned that there are some guys out in the bullpen outside of obviously just Christian who have sort of maybe risen in your estimation over this past week. Who are some of those guys over the last 3 games or so?
I feel like there's a lot more, like we can get guys in and out in short spurts and feeling a little better about their niche for certain types of hitters. I think, you know, we had 2 high-scoring games the last 2 days. However, the tipping point, we got zeros at the end of the game when we needed to be able to win 1-run games. And that's something that I take a lot of pride in. We lost one today. But, you know, I mean, you know, Alex mentioned, you know, Thatcher throwing the ball well. I have a lot of trust in Sam Dutton, obviously. Kate Anderson, that was really good to see out of him the last 2 days. Will Helmers, and they're all different, and they're all a little unique. And, you know, I credit Tennessee because they seem to have that too. They have a lot of variety in their arms and what they can do out of the bullpen and match up, and they pitch to their strengths very, very well. We're starting to round into that form a little bit closer with more guys, and it gives us a little bit more options. And I'm excited about that. And, you know, I think we're as good at the front of the game for 2 games as anybody. I really believe that with all my heart, and can't wait to, you know, flip the ball to those guys again.
All right, congratulations on your play this week, Coach.
Okay, thank
Safe
you.
travels.
Appreciate it. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Coach. Yep.